Joan of Arc was born in 1412 in Domrémy, a farming village on the edge of a country that was already being erased. By the time she was a child, Paris belonged to the English. The French king was dead, and the rightful heir, the Dauphin Charles VII of France, had no crown, no army, and no confidence. France wasn't losing. It was disappearing. Joan was illiterate. She had never traveled. She had never seen a battlefield. And at around 13 years old, she began to say she heard voices. Not dreams, instructions. Saint Michael, Saint Catherine, Saint Margaret. They told her, France must be saved, Charles must be crowned, you must lead him. For years, she told no one outside her family. But as the war closed in around her village, the message became urgent. In 1428, at 16, she left home and went to the nearby garrison town of Vaucouleurs. She asked to see the commander. She told him God had sent her to rescue France. He laughed and sent her away, so she came back and came back again. Something about her didn't fade. Local soldiers began to believe her. Villagers began to support her. Eventually, the commander gave her an escort. Not because he was convinced, because he wanted her gone. She crossed enemy territory in disguise, through a war zone to reach the Dauphin's court at Chinon in 1429. This is the moment that made her real. Charles hid among his nobles to test her. She walked into the room and went straight to him. A peasant girl who had never seen him before, in a crowded hall. And she knelt. Whatever happened in that private conversation afterward changed everything. Because Charles, the man who doubted his own right to rule, began to believe. She was sent to Poitiers to be examined by church scholars. They couldn't prove her visions were real, but they couldn't prove they were false. That was enough. She was given armor, a horse, a banner, not a sword, bearing the name of God. Here's the line that defines this moment. France did not give Joan an army because it believed in her. It gave her an army because it had nothing left to believe in. Her destination was Orléans. If that city fell, the English would control the Loire. If the Loire fell, the Dauphin's kingdom was finished. For months, the French had only watched the siege. Waiting, retreating, failing. Then a 17-year-old girl arrived, dressed in white armor, carrying a banner and a promise that God had not abandoned France. In the next episode, the siege that had lasted for months ends in days, and a war that had been lost for a generation suddenly turns. If you enjoyed this trip down the rabbit hole, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Smart History for Dumb Times.